Hey, what's up guys? So this is Alan here, working on the 92 VR4 3000 GT. So doing a 5-speed to 6-speed swap. Obviously it's still all-wheel drive, twin turbo, whatnot. But just giving the 6 gears and the smaller rear diff, going from a 3.5 to a 3.3 will actually give me a little bit of fuel mileage, more top end, which is more important to me than the fuel mileage, as well as just a better all driving experience with more gears, right? So let's get into some differences of the two between the 5-speed and 6-speed as far as the transmission and transfer case we're in. So this is your 5-speed Touge transmission for an all-wheel drive 3000 GT. So I pulled that hush puppy out and slapped in the 6-speed, which is actually a larger transmission slightly. It's got these protruding pieces here as well that makes it a little bit harder to put in. I don't know if you can see that. But basically this transmission is called a W6 MG1 for my memory, I believe, and that's a W5 MG1 for, obviously Getrag transmission. And here is the transfer cases. One on the bottom, the dirty one that I still have to clean, is the 6-speed, and the one on the top is the 5-speed transfer casing. If you're not familiar with transfer casing, basically what it does is it sends, so normally this is a transverse layout, so normally this would be like a front wheel drive where you got your axles coming through both sides of the trans and moving the front wheels. But basically what the transfer case does is it sits vertically back, and basically drive shaft, as you can see here, will come and connect and go up into the transfer case. And basically what that does is from this output shaft will send power to the rear wheels. So I believe these cars are a 60-40 split. Could be wrong on that, but it's close there. 55-45 or 60-40. It's not a 50-50, that's for sure. But yeah, so gonna clean up that transfer case, put it on, and then we're gonna get this guy driving in a 6-speed format. Some of the differences you can see in the transfer case is obviously 6-speed's bigger. It actually has a shorter snout, so from the bolts to here is much shorter than the 5-speed casing. And so a lot of guys are like 6-speed better, 5-speed better. Well, they have their own quirks. Like the transfer case is actually stronger on the 6-speed, while the transmission, the 5-speed 25 spline, is in my opinion stronger than the 6-speed 25 spline. But then the funky thing about the 5-speed models is that they had an 18 spline drive and then a 25 spline drive. And basically what that means is that the 18 splines coming on the output shaft, and the 18 splines are weaker than the 25, of course, and they made that adjustment from 93 up. So the 91 and 92 VR4s are worth a little bit less because of their weaker drivetrain, but still great cars, and definitely upgradable. You can upgrade a 25 spline output and input as well in the transfer case to the 91 and 92s.
Okay, so here are the shifter cables from the VR4 all-wheel drive 5-speed and then the 6-speed. 5-speed being the 91 through 93, 6-speed being 94 through 99. As you can see, the links are actually really no different. Really no difference at all in the link, contrary to belief. But the biggest difference is how the shifter mechanism is designed. So this is the 5-speed. And when you go over to the right, you got very little movement. You got maybe half an inch versus the 6-speed. When you go over to the right, you got that and you got more. You got literally about 2 inches of travel. And that's what you need for that 6th gear. This would be reversed. And this 5th, and 6th gear. It should also be noted that even though the overall length is pretty much identical, the main difference is the mounting bracket that holds these pieces. So if you squeeze these together, you can see the distance between these two here, the mounting pieces. First, this would be the 5-speed versus the 6-speed. Mounting pieces have a much larger gap. Look at the difference there. So you definitely want to make sure that this gap is larger on the 6-speed than on the 5-speed for that shifter difference. On the note of the shifter, 2 things I highly recommend if you're going to be swapping or even working with the shifter at all is that you replace these rubber bushings here, those 4, and as well as the bushings on the shifter in linkage to solid bushings. What that's going to do is actually firm up your shifter. These cars are known for having shifter funky failings and issues depending on the year model, and that just cleans it up really nicely. So basically what I did is I popped out the ones from the 5-speed that already had the brass shifter bushes that I upgraded a while ago. I'm going to clean these up and grease these up a little bit, just a little bit of grease, so if I ever have to take them out, it'll be a smooth sail, as well as just so it has a little bit of smooth rotation in there as you're shifting. I grease everything though, so it's my personal preference. And this is what the shifter solid bushing looks like when you replace those there. It's a solid piece. It just firms up everything when you're shifting and driving, so it's a nice firm feel. You definitely want that when you're going through the time and effort to switch to a 6-speed anyway. But yeah, just reach out to me. I can provide these for you as well. TougeTechniques.com.